Guys, Russ who drives the bus here. So today's video I'm going to cover is going to be like a recap for season 1. I'm going to throw in some other stuff to talk about, and let's get right into it. So we have about 4 days left. My first thing I would suggest that a lot of people don't take advantage of is going to be your allies. So it's really big, I think, to get your allies involved as much as you can, because then you're going to have predicaments where, like this, is wide open, right? So if I have my ally there and they have an understanding of what my plan are, where I plan to go, what my goals are for this whole season, then they have an understanding and we can help each other, right? They can help us reset. The last thing I want to do is have this lingering for days at a time when we only have a couple days left, right? It's the last thing I want to do. So what I want to do is make sure that they understand that we're aligned and what our goals are, right? Especially season 2, it becomes a lot for members to have an understanding. Season 2, you have to cooperate a lot, and it takes a lot to work as a server and with your allies. So a lot of that aspect where a lot of people believe they can do it by themselves, unless you have an extremely large alliance, super powerful, very, very rarely can one alliance on a server be able to fight multiple ones. Reason being is you can't be at more than one place at once, right? You can, but highly doubt that you have enough whales or enough larger players to be able to split up your alliance and do that. So you have to rely on other people, whether it's in your server or outside. Some people get frustrated. They decide they're not going to help the server, all sorts of stuff. But anyway, we're not going to get into that. So what I'm going to cover is some things that are coming up, what I suggest for future seasons to recap season 1. This is more of a guide for people who are currently in season 1 about to end, which again, the 4 days, if you're still in season 1 in our range, the 4 days is only for the points and to get your rewards, wherever that may be, queen, pawn, whatever. This is a time to calculate what you want to do. The reason I say you want to have your allies work with you, because here's an advantage, or disadvantage, we should say. So here is a level, I'll show you real fast. Here's a level 6, right? So I can't take, for example, no one can go after this for 2 days, right? Because there is, let me just find it real fast. Well, anyway, there is a level 6 on the other side, similar to this one. It has about a 2-day reset, right? Here it is. So if someone wanted to attack this, they would have to time this as soon as this opens up. The only negative for the person who has this right now is the fact that this opens right when Warzone Duel starts, which means if you're in the middle of a Warzone Duel and not like it matters now they lost, but for example, someone wanted to attack it, that would be the most opportune time. This is where alliances come into play and allies, because now they can reset this, and instead of being 2 minutes, which is going to bring you to Saturday, you could reset it and you're going to have 3 days, 4 days, and get you well over that hump to not have to worry about resetting this and possibly losing it. But you also want to back yourself up. So we're kind of in a good position. I don't have to really worry unless this one alliance, which is not that strong from another server, tries to attack us and take level 6. Besides that, it's our allies on the server. So that's why I said, as long as you have a good working relationship with them, I don't foresee an issue. So you back yourself up, make sure you're covered. So if you do decide you're going to take a shot at something larger, whether it's going from pawn to queen, queen to king, usually queen to king, you already have an understanding of who the strongest server or alliances are in servers and groupings. So you kind of have an understanding of what's going to happen. So that's really, usually it's very rare you see that unless you have two mega alliances that are battling each other. Very rarely do you see that happen. The next thing I would cover is what my suggestions are. So again, I have a guide on this, so I'm not going to go in crazy detail. I have my thoughts on it as well in that. So, but his professions, I hear this a lot. We go over it a lot. In season 1, it goes level 40. The biggest takeaway I could say is if you are done building, let's say you're at HQ 30 and you have nothing else major to build, the next season I would still get ready, because again, just because you have nothing to build building wise doesn't mean you're not still working on your tech. You're not still working on all these other avenues that require a lot of stuff. And the biggest issue you're going to run into most of the time that I see for a lot of players is gold, just in general, obviously, or in other things you run out of very, very, very quickly. Excuse me, but that's one of the most common things that I see people have issues with. And one way to combat that, I would say, is your profession. I would start it in the beginning. Again, the only people I really think should go Warlord are going to be your larger players who are rally leaders, not rally joiners, because the benefits you get from it directly affect you for battles, right? If you're not the strongest player, you're a mid player, again, we have rally joiners, we have rally starters. Rally starters is going to be a bigger player, gear's more squared away, probably spending a little bit more money. Rally joiner, there's nothing wrong with it. Maybe a dolphin, medium-sized player. Your biggest goal is to get as strong as you possibly can to help support your biggest players for when they attack people. They're not just getting wrecked because it's one large player and it's all, players whose gear's not proper, their other equipment like their drone and things like that aren't taken care of. It's all those things like that. So if you run into those issues, then obviously that could be a problem. That's why I said you have to be realistic with what your goals are, whether it's for the season, it's for you as a player, alliance, or your allies. If you all have them aligned, you can't lie to yourself, right? If you say you're a rally starter, but you're really a rally joiner, it doesn't lie, right? Obviously, it depends on your spending and everything like that. So just keep that in mind when you're doing this, what your intentions are. I always like the profession with engineer because you get so much more perks at the beginning. I'd rather have it in the beginning, and then as you get up to those levels, then you can always switch it over once you got what you want. I want to try to maximize as much as I can to get my tech up in certain areas up as much as possible. So that's why I say usually go profession, but again, I have a full breakdown, guides and everything else like that. But the key takeaways here are focusing on season 1. Make sure you have your allies. Make sure you have an understanding what your plans are, what your realistic expectations of goals for your alliance are. And then if you're going to take a shot, it's best to make sure everything's squared away with what you guys captured and stay in that position. If you're going to take a shot, make sure you're squared away. So if you swing for the fences and miss, it is what it is. It's not going to hurt you, and it's not going to affect you guys and drop you lower. That's the last thing you want to do is say, yeah, we're going to go for level 5 or, go for another level 6 and become queen. And then you don't factor in that you have another one, and then you leave yourself vulnerable and you literally lose it, and then you drop down lower. Don't do that, right? Then you have the Gorilla coming out, season 2. That's going to be the introduction of it, where you have to take care of it. That's going to be at day 89. And then we have all the other hero stuff coming out. So I'm doing a guide now on what happens after season 1, because season 1 will continue. You won't have the rewards after 4 days. Everything that's set will stay there, like I talked in a previous video. And then I'm going to prepare everyone for season 2, what the difference is, what are coming up, as well as I believe the holiday event's going to be out relatively soon. I'd probably say by next reset it'll be out, most likely. I would say Monday, rolling into Christmas holiday coming up. So that's what I would say. Just keep an eye out for that. And really, like I said, hopefully these videos are helping you guys. I'm going to have a ton of stuff coming out as far as guides, one-on-ones for everyone. So if you're interested in that, reach out to me. If you like these videos, share, comment, share them with your friends, family. And the last thing I would say is if you want to donate to the channel, help it grow, I appreciate that a lot. It helps me grow, give you guys insight of where I think you should spend, as well as some other areas. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns about that, just reach out to me in the game. Twitch, Discord are in the game. And without anything else, guys, I'll see you guys in the game. Later.